Hello, my name is Matthew Carney, and I'm the Associate Artistic Director and Casting Director here at Drury Lane Theater. And I am joined today by Johanna McKenzie Miller, who is directing our upcoming production of Steel Magnolias. Hi, Johanna. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
I'm so excited to finally be getting to talk about theater and that we can do theater
I
soon,
know
very soon.
it's a little surreal almost.
Yeah. So on that note, how have you been kind of spending your time in the pandemic and this
um,
time off?
uh, Mostly baking and homeschooling slash not really homeschooling, more remote learning. I have two kids who have been at home, and so I've just basically been doing that. Mostly, I just get them snacks when they need snacks, but it's been a long, interesting year.
It certainly has. It's been a long year without theater, and I feel the dry spell is coming to an end here soon. Um, so as I mentioned, you are directing our upcoming production of Steel Magnolias. I have had the joy of working with you as an actor several times, and I think many of our audience will remember you from our stage. Um, how has the transition been going from actor to now director?
Well, it's interesting. I didn't realize how much my brain likes to direct until I got the wonderful opportunity to direct a show at First Folio. And that was in 2018. And then it all just kind of started going very quickly. But I remember leaving a rehearsal of that show uh, thinking, and I called my sister. I said, I think my brain knows what it wants to do when it grows up. And I started thinking back on all of the acting work I've done, which has been quite a lot, which has been great. I've had a really nice career here in Chicago, and I realized how many times I I am directing the scene or like problem solving and doing things, which in Chicago, for those of you that maybe don't know, in musical theater, a lot of times we are putting these, and in straight theater, we're putting these shows up very, very quickly. So, we're usually in the rehearsal room maybe 2.5 weeks, and then we're into tech and previews, and things move very fast. So I think it was a real asset to me that I could problem solve, and kind of figure out things, kind of for myself. Although I know it did get in the way sometimes too. So I apologize to any directors that I was maybe a little too in my head about stuff. But but then I got the opportunity to direct. I was asked to direct a couple kids shows at the Marriott Theater and a couple concerts for New Faces concerts for Porchlight. And so it all started moving very quickly, and then it all came to a screeching halt in March of 2020. So
Yeah.
this past year has been a real challenge as I watched my friends and colleagues posting, audition stuff or creating content, um, and feeling like I don't know who I am. I don't know what I do. And so that's been an interesting kind of self exploration. And I started reading a lot more about plays. Okay, this is what makes me feel good. So, and what makes me feel kind of like tingly and alive. And the idea of putting myself on tape for an audition or something does not. So that was a big indicator for me.
What originally drew you to Steel Magnolias, which we were supposed to do last summer, and now we're doing it not summer 2021, but summer 2022. And I guess, and has your view of that changed at all since this past year has happened? And I guess how has this past year affected maybe your view of Steel Magnolias?
um it's so well crafted, and it seems almost simple and fluffy, but there's so much going on in these relationships with these women. And so one of the first things that probably drew me to it is that it's just women. It's just six women having a conversation, or multiple conversations. And you see the way they support each other, and the way they rib each other, and the way, the different kind of interpersonal small group communication things that we do. And it's all funny, and then it just rips the rug right out from under you. I don't want to, no spoilers, but there is a quite a turn in the play,
Mhm.
that and then you watch them build each other back up. Um, and so it's a lot about community and a lot about these relationships with women. And as a woman, we are often, or have been, a lot of times we're sort of pit against each other to compete.
Mhm.
And it's something that's ingrained fairly young. And so it's nice. It was a nice thing as to read the play and to see the movie when I was younger, to see these women not competing with each other, in that way. I mean, they, like I said, they rib each other and they poke fun, but yeah. So that was kind of what first drew me to it, I guess. And then over the past year, one of the things I think everybody is missing is human contact and that connection that we have from our community. My community has been the theater, my family and my little people that live here, and then my family at the theater, and sitting in a dressing room, putting in my pin curls, and sitting in a rehearsal room talking about what the next emotional moment is going to be. And that's, we are all missing that. And that, um, those little tiny relationships and those people in your life that you don't have to work hard to be around, that just you can just be around. That's the thing that happens at Truvy's salon, is they can go there and like put their mask down and take off the coat that they wear, the armor that they wear to protect themselves in the real world. You're literally in a dressing room sitting around in your tights and pin curls, and so you've really stripped yourself of all of that, and you can just relax. And I am missing that, and I'm looking forward to finding that again.
Speaking of all women, talk to me about the creative team that you have selected for this show.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were that I was very interested in was seeing if we could get an all-female, all-women creative team and staff, and we've done it. We have this amazing group of artists, some of whom are colleagues I have worked with before, and some of whom I've just met, who are doing all of the design, from Angie Weber Miller doing scenic design to Sarah Ramos doing sound design, both artists who I've worked with as an actor. Actually, Angie also designed another show I did. I was just so excited to get as many women's voices in the room as possible. And it's already, we had some meetings before everything kind of got put on hold, and it was just so exciting to just talk again, like to be in Truvy's salon, really. You're like, oh, I get it, you've had this experience. And some of the women are younger, and some of the women are a little older than me, but each of us has had a journey in trying to find a pathway in art, in a very male dominated world. Like, I won't just, not just theater, but just in general. So especially, like, for example, our scenic designer, and our lighting designer and our sound designer, there are fewer women in those technical, like really heavy tech um uh roles, and our props designer, like all of them. It's like, it's really exciting to get to lean into that, and to just feel this kind of, bond of, so lame to say, but of sisterhood in a way. So I'm really, really excited.
Um, so what do you hope when we get to do this play finally next year? What do you hope the audiences will take away after seeing Steel Magnolias?
Yeah. I, from the, like, this is still a thought that I had from the beginning, is that I really want everyone that comes to see the show sort of feel like they're like cozying into a cozy chair with a blanket around them, just enjoying, the warmth and the story of Steel Magnolias. It's a Drury Lane, if you've never been there. It's a large theater. It is very easy to feel kind of far away from the stage. So it is sort of my job to really kind of pull everybody into the stage, and the play itself will do that. And then we just have to create the kind of warm environment and really make sure that all of these emotional moments are coming across, so that the people watching the show feel like they're in the room and feel like they've had that experience. Whatever it is, we all kind of know these women anyway. So I hope that audiences will find a comfort and a familiarity in the production.
Awesome. One last question for you. Um, who are some of the women in your life that have inspired you and have gotten you to where you are now?
Well, there's been a lot. I mean, of course, my mom, who is an immigrant from Venezuela and has worked so hard her whole life, and raised, she's married to my dad, but raised my sister and I, and it was challenging sometimes, and there are all kinds of barriers, but she's always driven home to both my sister and I to, like, work hard and show up, and to be authentic. She used to always say, you keep your head out of the clouds, keep your feet on the ground. And for somebody who started singing very early, very young, I started performing when I was pretty little. She never let me kind of get too big a head about it. Like, it never, it was always like, oh, sure, you can sing, but you also have to do your homework. It was a very down to earth sort of upbringing. And I was looking at, so that's one person just in my personal life. And I was thinking about, like, the characters in the show, and I realized I really more identify with, like, Truvy and Annelle, the sort of outsider or working women, versus the women who come from a little more money and that sort of a little more of the Southern Belle stuff. That doesn't, I don't connect to them in the same way. But then in a theatrical world, or as a professional, I have had the good fortune to work with so many incredible women in this town. I mean, Ife Butler has played my mother, and like, Paula Scrofano has played my mother. I've just had these women. We have this lovely group called the Divas, which are, I don't know, I think there's like 60 women in it now. It's all equity women, or equity actors over a certain age, women of a certain age, we'll say. And I am so thankful for each and every one of them, for their sort of guidance and support and role modeling of how to have a career in this crazy business, and also have a life, and be a good friend and be a good human. And then, of course, I would be remiss to not mention a dear friend who I know Drury Lane audiences will remember, Rachel Rockwell, who was continues to be such an inspiration. She did a lot of the hard work of getting in the room for a lot of women. And I know there are a number of us that are miss her dearly. And so she's definitely someone that I kind of call on or think about a lot when I'm looking at a challenging page of blocking, or kind of an emotional journey that someone has to go on. I think about, like, okay, well, how would Rachel kind of approach this? And
sadly, our time is coming to an end, but this has been absolutely wonderful. And I am so excited that we get to finally bring Steel Magnolias to the stage. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. And yeah, we'll see you in rehearsals in about a year from now.
Yay!
It's coming soon. It's coming
soon. Mark your calendars.
All right, you can check out our website at drurylanetheater.com to get all the details about Steel Magnolias and our upcoming 2021-2022 season.